Unidentified vessel. Please submit your clearance codes. I can bring you in warm. Or I can bring you in cold.
This is Justin.
The Force will be with you.
This is Josh.
This is Kyle.
This is Maggie.
And we are the Outer Rim Beacon.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have now tuned in to the Outer Rim Beacon, your frequency for everything in that galaxy far, far away. From lords to master assassins, we've got you covered. Welcome, everybody. My name is Justin. I am one of the hosts of this show. Thank you for joining us on this midweek episode. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts.
This is Josh, and apparently Justin's doing job titles now.
This is Kyle, and it's a Wednesday. I feel like I haven't even recorded a podcast in a month and a half. I'm just all out of sorts. I just was really concentrating on knowing when to go. So moving on.
And this is Maggie repping her Boba Loves Fennec shirt.
Nice. Very nice. Styling and profiling over here. Yeah. Thank you. We've got
He's so punny tonight.
We got a fun midweek
stole that from Ric Flair.
You guys. Talking Boba Fett. Premiere of the book of Boba Fett dropped today. So we got a lot to talk about with that. But yeah, break up your work week. It's that odd week between Christmas and New Year's that's like the void of time and nobody knows what day it is anymore. So this is kind of a nice change. Nice break to come at you during your week. I dig it.
Me too. And it gave me something to do at work today while everyone else is on vacation, was watch Book of Boba Fett a couple times on my phone. So
working hard.
Really a win-win. Yeah.
There you go.
Working hard. Yeah, it's nice. The rest of them that we do are going to be on Fridays going forward. So we just wanted to drop this one because it's the premiere. But we have guests. We have guest hosts joining us for every Friday night episode that we've got through the rest of the series coming up. So make sure you guys tune in. Same time, 8:30. It'll just be on Fridays instead of Wednesdays. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So it'll be a good time. But yeah, Book of Boba Fett dropped today. When did you guys watch? When did everybody watch?
Oh my God.
Maggie at 4 a.m.
I watched it at 5:30 and then I watched it again at 7 because I had to write a review for Collider and I wanted to make sure I got my facts straight.
Okay. Josh?
6 a.m., 6 p.m.
Ooh, got the double watch in.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I was the last one of the four of us to see it, but it was probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
And then I watched it again after work, like 6 o'clock. I think maybe Josh and I were watching at the same time, probably.
Nice.
So insane.
Nice. Not bad. Yeah, I got one viewing in. I normally just do the fun overview viewing, and then going into our recording next week.
Look at all these guys with the 3 a.m. We got the dedicated fans.
3 and 6. Holy moly!
The double shot, 7 a.m. Respectable.
Ed's at 7 a.m. and 5. Look at the morning watch and the afternoon watch. That's nice.
Yeah,
you hit the refresher in there. Oh, I see buddy Scott East is joining us this evening. Very nice. Welcome, Scott.
Beavis.
It's an old friend of Kyle's and mine, and glad to have him watching here. So hopefully he got to watch the episode. In case you guys don't know, when we do our recaps for the show, we do drop spoilers during this. That's the whole premise of
Spoiler alert
episode. So yeah, we do drop some spoilers during the show here. So if you haven't watched yet, you might want to tune out so we don't ruin it for you. But otherwise, we're going to talk about the show and some of the things that we enjoyed, what we didn't enjoy, overviews, things like that. So, but welcome everybody. It's good to have you back. Feels like it's been a hot minute since we've done a live show. So I'm
it has. I think that's accurate.
Yeah. I love doing it. I was like driving home from the gym. I'm like, man, I'm so jazzed to do this tonight because we haven't done a live stream in so long. So I'm excited. But yeah, I'm in this episode. So here, I'm going to preface this with it. I was reading some reviews on various sites before I got on here.
That was your first mistake.
Did you read Collider? Did you read Collider?
I did not read yours, Maggie. Not yet. Just because it popped in my for work for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And
I'm
then,
leaving.
I'm home.
Goodbye.
Huge mistake, Justin. You could have
Yeah.
easily said yes, even if you didn't.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
I read it twice. I told all my friends to click on it.
My
Printed it
take on
off and hung it up in my house.
Printed it.
On my fridge right now.
like my take on it was way different than apparently critics' takes on it. So let's go right to Maggie.
You hated
Maggie,
it? Why'd you hate it,
give us
Justin?
your synopsis and what your critique was.
I genuinely did not have a critique at all. I felt like this was a nice, different kind of style of Star Wars. It was a lot more subdued than what we've seen previously. There was no big, like there was a battle, but there was no big action sequence. It was much more focused on Boba Fett trying to kind of reconcile with what's happened to him and trying to find this, way to move forward. And I really liked kind of seeing this more sedate version of Boba Fett. I've been very vocal on here in the past about how I really didn't like how Boba Fett was portrayed in the comics, and I didn't like some of the portrayals in Legends. The Legends was a little bit better, and I didn't like kind of like the fanboy, no offense, like opinion of Boba Fett. And so I really liked seeing this much more human approach to him, where he was like, I cannot battle anymore. I need to go back to my bacta tank. Like, I really liked seeing the humanity behind the helmet, and we haven't really seen that previously. Even with Din, like we see kind of glimmers of it. He's such a like shielded, closed off Mandalorian, whereas Boba is clearly at a point in his life where he's like, I just want to like rule with respect and not have to get into a fight, otherwise I have to grip my back to tank. And I really like that it was a deviation from what we've seen in Star Wars previously. There was not a lightsaber in sight, there was no big blaster fights, it was all very like hand-to-hand combat and trying to make your way out of like a bad situation. And I love the portrayal of the Tuscans, and I'll probably talk about that later on, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I love when Star Wars is small.
Character driven.
Agreed.
It was a character centric episode. And I think we oftentimes think there's too many characters in there and you're like, well, I wish I would have known more about this guy. This is solely about Boba Fett.
And no cameos unless you count Max Rebo.
I do.
Yeah.
And you should.
Yes,
but
yeah.
it was quick and brief.
Yeah.
But
Was he paired with Figure and Dan there? Were they doing a collab in the book with the remixed sound a little bit to
my headcanon says Figure and Dan.
Loved it. Was more like
it was actually a Max Rebo cover band that actually isn't Max Rebo. It was like his cousin who picked up the
look-alike.
Well, because maybe he died on the barge, but another, Max Rebo lookalikes, like, I can pick up the slack. This is my time to shine.
It's his brother Jet Rebo or something like that.
There's a whole group of conspiracy theorists that thinks he's actually living in Cuba, still alive. But he's with Elvis and Tupac. Yeah.
Oh,
God, can you imagine Tupac on a Max Rebo beat? Ugh, impeccable.
It's almost
one
like
on the charts.
Rihanna singing Max Rebo.
If only. If only.
Stepped it up.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Nice my dog even opened his eyes for that. That's pretty huge.
Dedication.
Yeah.
It was good to see him, and it was like that was such a nice touch. The little remix of the music as they walked through the bar, little different sound. It was awesome. Yeah, you're right.
Come on, Justin. You got to change it up. You got to keep it fresh. He's an artist.
I know. It was nice. I loved it. But it was nice. You're right. It was character centric. It's about Boba. I think what we've wanted to see for a long time was the story of Boba Fett and how he gets out of the Sarlacc pit and he moves on. And I'm going to look at Josh right now. Josh is the Legends guy here. He's wanted this for a long time, I think, or at least to see it, maybe not written in paper. Josh, what was your take on the story of the Fett getting out of the pit?
Yeah. So like you said, this is definitely something we've been waiting to see for a really long time. And it kind of, in Legends, he makes his jetpack blow up. He still uses fire. It's kind of the same. And then my thought as he was pulling himself through the sand, I thought, maybe there's one person who hates sand more than Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
He's at least got an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, like, I agree with Maggie. I like the the humanity we're seeing from Boba. I do think that like needing to rush him back to the bacta tank is trying to show us that like he's still healing from everything that we're seeing in these flashbacks. Like he's still not at 100%. And I'd like to think that it's because of that and not because he's just older. But I mean, I'm sure that plays into it. But you know, shirtless Tem is giving shirtless Adam Driver a run for his money.
Can I just say that I love that he is not wearing the Luke Skywalker diaper, that he's got like briefs on.
Yeah.
I was relieved. I was like,
I think
I'm gonna have
they've
to
gotten
avert
the
my
note on
gaze.
that.
But like, no, we don't wear diapers in the back to tank. We just wear like nice, very simple briefs.
What is Tem's like? What 62?
60, yeah, 60.
I think he's like 61, 62.
Aged like a
61.
fine wine. Ah.
Ming
Looks
Na
fantastic.
is 58, and Jennifer Beals is also 58.
I want to know what water they're drinking because they're like so
Obsessed.
youthful, permanently youthful. It's
It's
awesome.
called having a dietitian and having like a workout guru.
Very, very true. Very true.
And-
And you have that 24/7, and yes, it makes life a
Little
little bit
Botox, you know.
easier.
Try to
Mhm.
drink the blood of their enemies. It's nothing, you know, black magic, whatever.
And I gotta say, there are some good-looking Twi'leks in this episode as well. I was
Easy
like,
perv.
man, they're either like they look amazing, like what we saw tonight, or they're kind of scary, like what we saw in The Mandalorian on the prison ship.
A
or,
Twi'lek
like-
can be almost anything, can't it?
Yeah.
Like they can have any accent. You can make their teeth look like anything. Their faces, like it can be any color. They are versatile.
I was like, man, wow, this is my kind of bar right here. I need to go to Tatooine and Mos Espa and visit this bar.
Since you brought it up, first of all, you're getting weird with it. Second of all,
A little bit.
I have very few, almost zero gripes with this episode. I really, really loved it. But I will say the green and yellow Twi'lek specifically, I didn't notice it when I watched it at work on my phone, but on my TV, they looked a little funny, like the coloring or something. Like, I don't know, like the green was too green. Like I don't know. It was just funny to me. But that's like a huge nit to pick. But you're right. They had like this bordering on slaves, almost nude Twi'leks, and the gown. Yeah, for real. And the full-on gown, like princess / madam Twi'lek too.
Yeah.
That whole scene, I was just talking about this with my mom. I was like, I got such weird vibes from them when they were like, "Can we polish your helmets?" And I was like,
Yeah,
Star Wars,
That was
simmer down. It is
suggestive.
Wednesday. It is early.
A Wednesday
It's
morning.
too much. No, Wednesday morning, guys. Simmer.
Polishing helmets.
And I figure we're going to revisit that bar again later this
Undoubtedly.
at some
Well,
point, undoubtedly.
If
So
you're getting your helmet polished and then a pile of Republic credits at the end, of course you're going back.
she made Fennec made a great comment though. Yours appears
Thank
shinier
you.
than mine.
Well,
the one-liners, the comedic one-liners in this were fantastic, delivered with precision timing, well-written lines, just like little one zingers in there were spot on and perfect. I thought it was hilarious. So yes, and I got my first on. Yeah, buddy.
I've got something because Josh was kind of talking about the Bacta and why he had to go back, and it made me think like Bacta and being in the Bacta tank has been treated like a couple different ways. So there's like Luke, who he was injured and got dropped in it and it healed him, similar to Din getting sprayed with it. He was injured and he got sprayed and it healed him and then it was done. But then we've got, like, we know Vader, he like just takes a dip in the Bacta regularly to feel better,
Something.
you know, like yeah, to feel anything, to feel relief, something. So like at what point like does it just fix you, and when do you like just now you just have to get a fix of the Bacta every couple days or something? Like what's the line?
Well, I think so with Boba, I think it's extensive injuries and then also like age. But I think Vader's like a hard, person to kind of compare it because one, he's like so injured, but then also like using the dark side is like terrible for your body. So I'm
Only-
wondering if he's like
It's really
healing
bad for
on
the
that,
joint.
too.
Only
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
are nice to the Tusken Raiders get successful back to baths.
Yeah.
If you kill the women and the children too, the back is not going to work for you.
Like animals.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody
Felt
want
bad
one of
about
those
it,
like
sort of.
The
Like,
massives? I want a massive.
No, not the massive, but I meant the giant like back to waterbed.
Yeah, I have chronic
would-
pain. I would love that.
I mean, it's like they have
It's
those
like a tanning bed.
tubs, right? Like the saltwater float things that
Oh,
you
yeah,
Yeah,
the-
it reminds me, like a sensory deprivation tank
Yes.
or something.
Yeah,
Oh, I would so into
it looks
that.
very relaxing. I mean, not for him, obviously, because he's having dreams when he's in there. But it seems like it would be a
Well,
very.
depending on the dreams, that could be super dope.
That's very true.
But
too.
if you're haunted by your past, then I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
Not cool.
Yeah.
I want one. Yeah.
All dreams are wet dreams in a back to tank.
This guy.
Hey, I mean, it is hump day, so
Oh, jeez, oh, Pete, this is not a family show.
we made
Apparently,
it 16 minutes.
We had a polishing helmets a little while ago. That was...
I mean, yeah, and Justin being like, "Oh, look at all those Twi'leks.
look at the Twi'leks.
Oh,
Yeah.
What did everybody think of finally seeing the inside of the Sarlacc pit? Did anybody else wonder what the inside of that
Yeah,
thing?
you
It
change
was-
that subject.
It was
Wow.
not as moist as I was expecting. For some reason, I
Wasn't
expected,
juicy
like-
enough for you, huh?
it was very moist.
I felt like it was phlegmy too.
How long do you think
Squelch.
he was actually in there?
I'm gonna bet like a day.
A day?
It was a
Maybe
little
less.
while because
Okay,
you could
here's
see
my-
the wreckage in the background, and it was like very
had
much
been a-
Like charred,
yeah.
not
was
smoldering anymore.
It
No
was
flame,
debris.
no-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe a couple days.
couple days. That's what I was thinking too. Like a couple days, maybe a week, for him to claw out of there. I felt a random stormtrooper just chilling in there.
I'm curious. Why is that stormtrooper in there? How did he end up in the?
I think he's
maw
been
of
in
the
there a long
Sarlacc?
time.
Yeah,
He wasn't at the
Because
sail
the-
barge incident.
no.
Because the armor's so good, it just held up.
He was
Said
that plastoid.
sarcastically.
Yeah,
And he still had
plaster, yeah.
he still had oxygen on him.
Yeah.
Kieran, this is when you got to get the back to spray, like Din got when they got blown up in the bar.
Or you have somebody go.
That's for the claustrophobics. Yeah,
Or
you
or
get
you
the-
just
the- Back to hose. take you out back like the Gamorreans. They were like, "You want to hose them down and feed them like they're livestock."
Oh my god!
You could definitely
or
tell
else it gets the
though.
hose again.
You could definitely tell though that once you're in there, whatever that bile is gets everywhere because it clearly got up under his helmet and very
Wait.
acidic.
This is
How long is their diet?
it's specifically stated in the movie. It's in the
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah,
It's very
Yeah.
slow.
I'm
Awesome.
learning that Tab only pays a little bit of attention when she's watching.
She's getting
Star
the broad
Wars.
strokes.
Yeah.
she's like, I got the gist of it. I'm good.
You're
I got
embarrassing
the
me.
gist."
Oh, jeez.
Very nice, very nice. What
I
you
think
guys
he's-
think? Go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say because the Jawas were just showing up, I feel like he couldn't have been in there that long.
Mhm.
Because it's not like I don't think they're like circling back. I think they're going to wreckage and stripping it to the bone, and then they're good.
I think
And
Maggie
they're
was probably right.
ruthless. They're like,
It was a dare. Yeah. Punched him in the face and left him for dead in the sands of Tatooine, huh?
"This is my armor now."
It was nice though because you see him pick up that armor and head off, and that's where obviously we pick up that Cobb Vanth story that we got in season 2 of Mandalorian. So
I am confident we're going to see him again. Confident that Cobb Vanth is going to show up because it makes sense. Because if you look at the trailers, we got other footage that's clearly flashback footage. So I'm
Mhm.
confident that they're going to use flashbacks more, and we're going to see because I don't know how much you've watched of the trailers, but there's the Tashi station potentially. Which has gotten Twitter, all aflutter because it looks like they've recast Cammy and I blank on his name every time. It starts with an L. Him.
Guys named Laser and Blue.
Laser and Cammy.
Yeah.
They look like they're in it. They look very similar to the actors who originally played them. And so I'm curious to see if we get like these flashbacks of like seeing his armor with Cobb Vanth, or like a flashback of like the Jawa selling his armor, and like a glimpse of like when he saved Fennec, and like all these little flashbacks. And I think it's a really neat way of storytelling if you can pair a flashback with the present and see that transformation, because we got that in this week's episode. We saw him essentially being tortured by the Tuscans. I mean, the kids came and started beating the crap out of him for fun with their gaffy sticks. And then we see him say that he doesn't want to torture anyone. And so we're seeing that kind of like the evolution. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, and when he made his first awesome appearance in The Mandalorian, he was super sick with that gaffy stick, and clearly his first appearance with the gaffy stick did not go so well. He got whooped up on.
He got walloped.
I think Darth Raven is going to train him.
Yeah,
that's what I'm calling that one sand person who kind of looked like Darth Revan in his outfit.
Yes, these Tuscans definitely had better drip than the Tuscans we've seen in the past. In my opinion.
Do we think it was a different tribe? The different clothes,
opinion.
different habitations, I guess.
Like different regions, maybe, or something like that. Like they wear.
I mean, I just know, the clothes are different, and they had tents instead of huts. So
they definitely look less camouflaged, I guess I would say, than unless they tend to travel at night or something like that, or I'm just like overthinking it. But the other Tuscans tend to have that sandy color, so they blended in the daytime with the sand. But these guys were largely in black, which I would think in the daytime would be noticeable.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're rolling with banthas, you're always noticeable, but
they do stand out a little bit. Nice to see them riding single file, though, hiding their numbers as they traveled, which was pretty cool. It's always fun to see.
Wow. Yeah.
What did you guys think of? What did you think of watching Boba try to be a crime boss? He, to me, seemed a little bit out of place as a crime boss. Like he's like I want to say like a dad trying to keep up with the kids' lingo and the TikToks and all this stuff, but like not really sure what to do, but like kind of knows what to do. What do you guys think about him kind of jumping into it and being like, "Yep, I'm going to be a crime boss now"?
I think art's a mirror and it reflects the person watching it. I'm just kidding. Go on. I'm making fun of Justin.
I think it's interesting because he seems almost naive. He's operated so much of his life. It's unclear how old Boba actually is with the timing, and based off 10, it's confusing. So he's been a bounty hunter for a while.
Yeah.
And he's been around crime bosses, and he's worked for crime bosses. He's worked for some of the worst crime bosses. And, he's seen the inner workings of all of these organizations for his entire life. And then he gets into that seat of power, and he's like, just let him go. And then be like, why is he asking me for money? I'm the crime boss. It's hilarious. And I love that it very much flips the script too, because Fennec and Boba are very much this good cop, bad cop kind of scenario. And oftentimes in that dynamic, especially when it's a female and a male character, the woman will be like the good cop and the guy will be the bad cop. So it's really interesting to see that script flipped with them too. And Boba being the one like, no, I want to be reasonable. I want to like invite them over for dinner and wine them and dine them and try to like make them like me. And then Fennec's like, or we could just shoot everybody.
Right.
And like even that like unspoken, like very like mild moment where she's getting ready to jump off the building to do parkour, and he's like, alive, Fennec. And she only brings one back alive. She makes
they only need
like,
I
only need one.
She was like, do I need two? No. Right. Goodbye. You're off this building top.
He said that like he's had to say that before.
So many times. I'm like, I want to know more about this dynamic because it's so fun. But I love hapless characters that are like trying their best, but they're very much fish out of water. And again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the episode, where it's very much this humanity. He's not perfect. He's not like this world-class bounty hunter and badass crime boss. He can do everything. He's an older guy who's been through a lot of stuff, and he needs his back to tank, and he's got his right hand, and he's just trying. I love it. I love it so much.
Yep.
So speaking of their interaction, are you still feeling like they have some vibes? Yeah, you're wearing the shirt, but how do you feel?
I feel
after
so
the
much.
first episode.
Bonnec will rise. It'll rise like a barge over the Tatooine sands as the two suns beat down upon them.
I'm sorry I asked. Kyle?
Well,
You had your fingers up.
well, I did. I was going to talk about Boba Fett. Not
I had
like
nothing to say to
his
that. I don't know.
romantic interludes, but I was gonna say that he was reborn. You know, he survived the Sarlacc. He came out of it. He was stripped down to nothing by these Tuskens, and I think we're gonna see he kind of earned their respect, and they're gonna train him how to live in this land. And he's a different person now, and he doesn't want to just kill anybody that gets in his way, and like he said in the episode, rule by fear. He's trying to be a different person, but he doesn't really know how to do that. He's trying to figure it out still.
Yeah, he was humbled in that fight against like I don't know what you want to call it, not the leader, but the strong arm, I guess, of the Tuskens, right? He was humbled in that fight pretty bad. Like, hey, without your armor, without your stuff, you're really...
His name is Darth Raidvin.
I think it's gonna be a little clunky to make that really catch on.
He's pushing it hard though. He's trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only had like not even a full day to workshop this. I might have a better one.
Give him by the time we record, he'll have it down. He'll figure one out. But yeah, he gets his butt whooped, and he's a little humbled in that fight, I think, and that's where he's kind of like, okay, maybe I need to like survey the situation a little bit more to get out of this and move forward. So, but you're right, Kyle. I think he needed that. That's the catalyst for change with Boba.
Yes.
What do you think? And he started to show that, I think, with the two Gamguards, right? He said, well, you were loyal to your former masters. If I free you, would you be loyal to me as well? And they both just drop to their knee instantly and are like, yep, we're good.
And boy,
And
did
they
he get a
took
quick return on investment in that one.
Yeah.
They like
He's a
rushed him away. I was like, oh. Can I just say, my mother is obsessed with the Gamorreans. She asked me like 3 questions this morning. She's like, so what are the Gamorreans? Are they sentient? Like, how, do they feel? Like, are people nice to them? Like, are they
They are
good?
not nice to them.
And I was like, no, people are terrible to them. And they're usually forced to like box and like wrestle and be like guards. And
They're like brutes. They're just treated
like-
like brutes.
But I think they're sentient pretty much.
Yeah.
And they just, don't speak they don't speak basic. But yeah, so the
They
Gamorreans
just
have a
speak
new
oink
fan and my mother.
noises. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I appreciate that these Gamorreans were chubby. I don't like the skinny Gamorreans that were featured
that
in.
was going to be my question. Do you prefer the skinny Gamorreans or the thick Gamorreans?
I like the ones that
No,
look like
give me
they've
those
been
thick
fed.
boys. Yeah.
They weren't as thick as the ones in the movie, though.
Well, those
Not
guys
closer.
were like bordering on maybe they had cholesterol problems or diabetes or something. I don't want that either. But
Oh my
look like
God.
they're healthy,
Like do you view the one that the two that we saw in the boxing match and the two that we see here as more the Gamorrean standard or like typical body type, whereas the one that you see that falls in the Rancor pit is the non-typical type, I guess. I don't know.
See, I thought one of the boxing ones was like too skinny. Like he was tall and skinny, like a dude
those
with a pig
ones-
face or something.
The
Mm.
Gamorreans that were boxing reminded me of like the dogs that are forced to fight, like dog fighting. They're always super thin
Mhm.
because they're not fed well. They're only fed like the protein they need to fight. And that's what I thought looked like those Gamorreans had been mistreated.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. They didn't look good.
Yeah. These
Looked
two were
unhealthy.
they They were strong. They were
in good
good
fighting
fight.
shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that caffeinated diabetic is offering up their insulin for the diabetic Gamorreans.
You've got it. You've got the insulin.
Eager to help out. Eager to help
The
out.
Gamorrean insulin. You
I
better not
tell
be
you what,
marking it up.
You know what?
It's a life-saving drug.
If this is a giant tease though for a Boba Fett movie, I'm in for that. Like if it's like a 7-episode string and then they're like, oh hey, see Boba Fett in the upcoming movie.
I don't personally see Star Wars
I'd be
doing
okay with
movies for a while, but
Yeah, that could be.
It'd be
TV.
cool.
I mean, they're doing so well on TV right now.
Yeah.
Stick
to what's working.
It's hard to jump back into the movies.
I think most of the best stories are being told on TV, right? I mean, there's some really good movies coming out. I saw a really good movie like this weekend, but
What'd you see?
Licorice Pizza. I really liked it. But
I thought you were going to say
TV.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was dope too. I really liked it. But
yet.
I like the Kingsman.
I haven't seen that one yet. TV's where it's at for me. You can get so much more in. You can tell long form stories. It's so good.
Yeah, agreed. I have a question, just because I'm not like I love clones. I love troopers. I love different kinds of vehicles. Not a big creature guy. What the heck is the 6-legged
Goro? It was Goro.
thing? What is it?
Goro.
Goro.
Yeah.
Was that his
No
first
idea.
name or the name of what he is?
Oh, you guys, you're killing me right now.
I'm not a creature person, so I had zero clue going into this. Like, what the heck is that?
I thought it was cool that he had 6 appendages and the middle 2 could be arms or legs, depending on how he was rolling. I thought that was a nice setup.
I'm very sad that Tiernan is gone now because this is very much her jam. But I died when I logged onto Twitter after I watched it, and so many people were thirsting over the sand creature.
That's weird.
People are weird though.
Including Ash Croson. That I died. I was like, I love that we've reached the point in pandemic where we're all just like, yeah, that looks like a fine slab of meat right there.
Yeah. I didn't know I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know what it was. And I was like, what is this? Like, as soon as he and I figured like, as soon as he's like, the Rhodians, dusting the sand off and you see the scales.
Speaking of, that Rhodian was a snitch bitch. What's up with him?
I know, right?
Snitches get stitches.
And wind up in ditches. Like, what's his problem?
He got it in the end, man.
Even if you don't want to make a run for it in the deserts of Tatooine, like, let bygones be bygones. Jeez, Pete. That guy's got to go. I mean, I guess he did go, but
he went.
Good riddance.
Yes, he
That's
did.
exactly why they did that, so we wouldn't feel bad when he got killed by the lizard monster thing.
Right. Like, here, let's just we'll get rid of him. Nobody's gonna feel bad about the
How do we make sure nobody gives a shit when this guy dies?
Exactly. I love how Star Wars does a great job.
Goro.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. Goro. I'm very.
Yes.
disappointed
Oh,
no one
it
knew
was
what I
a
saying.
gag.
It's me. It's always a gag.
I should have known because I've even played Mortal Kombat back in the day in the 90s on Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah. Which I like. I could use that creature in Vintage Collection line at some point. Like,
this guy, Justin, you are so
HasLab.
So many characters.
Another one that won't.
Sand.
6th Luke
And
Skywalker of the year.
Greedo, the Rhodian guy.
The Greedo. Come on, you're better than that.
I know. I'm sorry. You know what? No, he doesn't deserve to be directly identified because he's a little snitch bitch, like you just said.
He's still a Rhodian.
Yeah, he was. The thing I love about Star Wars in Star Trek does it
I'm
too.
38, Kamose. Which
They
rude.
do
I should have lied to you, but I'm old.
Not as old as me though.
Yep.
Hell no, not even close. Justin's like 60. I'm 38.
Hey, back it down.
70?
Not there yet. That's the other way. It's moving forward. No, I love how Star Wars is able to, I want to say, kill people, but it's not.
They are though.
It's not like Boba Fett literally launched a rocket at a guy hanging off the ledge of a building as he's trying to escape and vaporized him. Like, no blood, no guts, no nothing. just dead, gone.
You can blow up millions of people in the void of space, and there's not a drop of blood. It's just like fireworks. But it happened.
Boba's daddy's head went flying out of his helmet in an arena.
That's very true.
Not a drop of blood on that helmet. I mean, I know a lightsaber cauterized
Immediately
the wound,
cauterized by the lightsaber.
But
Jeez.
still,
But yeah.
no.
I was gonna say, do we figure that
no decapitated head falling out of helmet either?
is that like
Yeah,
the
there
most
is.
violent thing in Star Wars that we've seen? Do you think?
No, there is the head falls out in a shadow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
noticed that.
it's really grim.
There's a clip somewhere.
They added it into the shadow so that he's not picking up his daddy's decapitated head in the helmet.
Yeah.
I
Do we
always
think
thought
that's
he
the
did.
most violent thing that they've done in Star Wars?
What?
Like the head being lopped off? Like, do we think that's, I mean, obviously there's an arm or two here and there. There's a head. We talked about Clone Wars and Bad Batch, how some of these dudes get, what happens to them. You don't actually see it, but it happens. As far as the things that we've seen, whether it's movies or TVs, do we think that Jango's head getting lopped off is probably the most violent thing in Star Wars?
Well, sadly enough, it's going to definitely be something that a Jedi or / the Rebellion did, probably. But like blowing up the Death Star, there was a lot
True.
of people on the Death
Same
Star.
with Alderaan.
There's definitely some stuff
Alderaan,
coming up that's gonna be
Jeddah.
pretty violent.
Yeah.
I mean, it
it's
depends on your definition. Is personal face-to-face violence more violent than just destroying millions / billions of people in one shot? It's almost impossible to compare.
Good point. Like which one weighs heavier?
Yeah, good point. Getting bit in half by a Rancor. That's not without its
that happens every
gruesome
Tuesday.
aspects.
Yeah, good point.
Circle of life, though. What are you going to do?
I don't know if you guys saw it earlier too. There was a note up there from Rebel Art Empire. Send them a message. They're going to send you a Boba Fett sticker. I don't know if you guys caught that earlier too. So everybody in the chat, you go send them a message. They're going to hook you up with a Boba Fett sticker, which is pretty sweet.
Slide in those DMs.
But yeah, they go check out Rebel Art Empire just in general. They got new pins dropping too. I believe they've got Palps coming and Cody. I think there's a Cody with Order 66 coming in pins. So go check them out.
Have you, speaking of Cody, have you guys seen the Star Wars meme floating around the internet that's like why people love Captain Rex? And it's like this list that is so long that it's you have to like zoom in to even try to read it. And then it's why people like Commander Cody and because his helmet's cool.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Well, it's on the internet. If you're a fan of Star Wars memes like I am, then you've probably come across it.
Kyle, you are a Star Wars meme.
Oh, I wish I would have to be way more famous for that.
I was doing some detective work just now.
Sleuthing, if you will.
It's not exact, but it's pretty close. This is, if you look at this Dejeric board, you'll see this.
Oh yeah,
pink guy.
Yeah,
on the left.
Similar.
And then so that's a Clorg slug.
Okay.
So and then I've just found a picture of some figurines so you can see it like by itself better a little bit. It's not the same, but it's very close. More legs, a little bit more like a snake than that one. That kind of looked like it was
like
almost
a
like a
sandworm.
minotaur. Yeah, but you know.
In the subtitles on the episode, they just called it like a sand monster or something generic like that.
Yeah.
Whatever it was cool though. Definitely an intimidating creature that you do not want to run into in the desert.
You kill it the same way you kill a hut, though. Turns out.
Yep.
You choke it with the chain that you were also attached to.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't just choke him; they decapitated him.
Yeah.
Because they brought the head back to the.
Well, they did
the
eventually
tribe.
get that head off there. Yeah, that's true.
That little youngling was so excited to bring that back too. Look, I got a head. Look. Yeah. Here,
Honestly, when that
I-
thing came out of the when the sand creature came out of the sand, I was a little bit like relieved because I thought it was going to be a crate dragon.
That's what I was thinking too.
I did too. I thought it was gonna be a baby
Then
crate
they would have been in
dragon.
trouble.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Big
It's like,
time.
whoa, this is about to get interesting.
This series is only one episode, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, watching it, it was everything that I was hoping it would be. It did definitely fill in on a lot of the backstory for Boba Fett that I wanted to see. So I think for those maybe that were a little disappointed, it wasn't like advancing a story or creating new story. I think it did a little bit of both, to be honest with you, and at least in my opinion. I got a little bit of moving forward as the crime boss. I got a little bit of what happened to Boba in the interim, and it kind of jumped back and forth. So I was pretty happy because I got both things. So that made me happy, and I thought it was a solid episode. I didn't have any qualms about it. I thought, as always, music is on point. Loot with Goranson. Oh yeah, look at this.
The music was on point.
Look at this. Looks like he upgraded his keyboard too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been
Look, this
Couple
is
years.
Well,
this
if
is-
he survived, there's no way he got the keyboard out.
This is my theory. He got some sweet insurance after the barge incident. He had all of his band equipment insured. And so after that little incident, he upgraded, got himself a new thing, got himself a new boss. He's doing great.
Nice.
well, and what you can't see is like Darth Maul, he's a cyborg from the waist down. from
Yeah,
the
this is
accident.
canon. This is canon, actually.
There we
Yeah.
go.
He's just permanently attached to the
Yes.
keyboard.
Yeah. Actually, that's
Yeah.
what it really is.
There you go.
That's his like
Figuring
Professor
Dan
X
went
wheelchair.
solo. He's like, screw this band. I don't need the band.
I'm going on this. We're doing a duo now instead of the group thing.
It's a part of
Or
a
maybe he got
co-headlining
kicked
tour.
out. Maybe Figuring got kicked out.
Did since we were talking
on who
about the
you ask.
music, did you guys know? Well, it always is when a band breaks up. Did you guys notice that Ludwig wrote the various themes for the series, but then the score was someone else? Who was it? Does anybody know?
I don't remember the name, but you're correct. It was a different name on the score title.
Yeah.
I don't know who that
Yeah,
was.
so they recruited him for like the broad strokes there, but somebody else is doing the episode to episode work, it seems like, or maybe multiple people. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But seems like they're really liked what he did with the Mandalorian, obviously, and are trying to utilize him more, which is good because I think the stuff he did in the Mandalorian is great too. He's super talented.
Agreed.
I had one other thing too before we wind down. I feel like I didn't get to talk enough today, which is, not great.
Bless
So,
you, guys.
probably no one will come back next week unless I get a few more words in here. Are we all agreeing that the Shield / cattle prod people were sent by the mayor, right?
Yeah, most likely,
Yeah,
unless it's
yeah.
Is there
Clever
some other
trick.
like?
Crime
I
syndicate.
mean, we saw that there's some other crime syndicate because the group that left their markings on the building that I think is the Tashi station, which I'm sure we'll follow up on that later. The
Biker gang.
biker gang.
It's the same gang that we saw in that they talked about in the Mandalorian. No, the Red Key Raiders.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's not
Sorry,
the
go
Knights
ahead.
of Ren.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Maggie.
They rode around on speeder bikes in the. So.
Yeah.
I am hoping that we get Crimson Dawn tie-in.
Same.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
and I do want to make a note that the person that we were talking about doing the music is Joseph Shirley, who also worked with Ludwig on The Mandalorian.
Gotcha.
So not technically a new person. He was a score programmer for both seasons. So
Gotcha.
he was already involved.
Did he have his name like on the like?
I believe so.
title, though?
I believe so because he's in the credits.
for this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was music was on point, cinematography's on point. I love it that it's bright and I can see everything for the most part, like the colors of the costumes, and if you're watching it on a good TV, it's just outstanding to watch. It's amazing.
Looks good on with Grandpa's cataracts.
We haven't mentioned my favorite little cameo of
Max
88.
Rebo, we did.
No.
Oh yes.
88 is Matt Berry.
Yeah.
Matt Berry.
I was like, why do I recognize this voice?
I sat bolt upright in bed and I was like, Jackie Daytona?
Normal human bartender. There we go. There he is.
Was it 88?
Yeah.
Yep. I love that he references we really need a protocol droid.
Well, yeah, this guy's
They
a torture
did.
droid.
They had no
He's
idea
like,
what
"That's
the Aqualish
Did
was
you
saying.
get any of that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so with Max Rebo and 88, those are some small time cameos. But who are we? Maggie, you said you're hoping for a Crimson Dawn clue. Like, who are we hoping that we see? Mandalorian was like ripe full of like, remember this character? Remember that character? Remember this character? Who are we going to see? Who do we want to see and think is feasible in this series?
That's tough because they could go anywhere with this. I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit.
Kira. I think Kira is a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of that Crimson Dawn stuff could potentially show up.
Maybe Hondo?
We have the Crimson Reign happening right now. The comic book run.
It only makes sense to, and it would literally mirror what they were already doing. Like, oh, I'm doing a Boba Fett show. Here's a Boba Fett comic, War of the Bounty Hunters. And then now we're doing a Kira comic and...
Yeah, which was the spinoff of the Boba comic.
Right.
So,
When he's a crime lord, he's a baby crime lord, and then he butts up against the, Big Mama crime lord.
I hope any of that stuff leads to some Enfys Nest. I've always wanted more of that. That was like my favorite part of Solo.
Hondo.
I love Hondo. I'll always take more Hondo.
Yeah.
Hondo.
I would love.
They got to get Jim to do the voice though. Don't.
They could do it because of. Hondo doesn't need. Hondo's going to be all prosthetics anyway. So
easy to do the voice, just the voice in post. I get it, but like they got to do it. Hondo has to have Hondo's voice. That would be just a travesty.
Sure.
Hondo. I'll do it.
Oh, well, okay. If not Jim, then Maggie. But that's the lowest I'll go.
It's a strong second choice for that role.
Nothing less than that.
I think I want to see. I really want to see unidentified Quarren Boatman #3 pop up in this show. I think that would be.
If only.
If we end up.
Excuse me.
No.
His brother.
It's
the
unidentified
Quarren
Boatman's brother.
Yes, I would like to see him in this show at some point. Or Sweater Moncala. The dude at the
cable knit sweater Moncala.
The green sweater Moncala.
I don't think you see a lot of Moncala on Tatooine, probably.
No,
but
probably not.
It'd be a real fish out of water situation.
I was going to say bad for his skin, but yes, for sure.
Kind of like Boba trying to be a crime boss. A little
It
bit.
needs so much moisturizer. If Boba Fett looked like a cross between powder and dried up ET, so I can't imagine what actually that's accurate. Now that I think of it, that's very accurate. That is what he looks like, powder and dried up ET.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. That is a frightening image in my head. Thank you.
I love anytime someone references a movie from the 90s no one saw.
I'm glad anyone got it. Yeah, I do mean the 90s science fiction movie, not like actual talcum or something. Or cocaine or whatever powder you were thinking of, you weirdos.
Wait, why am I being booed?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What'd you do?
I'm with it though. Yeah, boo, Josh.
Yeah, boo.
Boo!
That's terrible. I've got a frightening picture in my head.
Oh, is it because of my Mon Calamari joke? Maybe.
Oh, fish out of
Yeah.
water. Okay.
You
yeah.
loved it, Jake. You loved it.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It was quick wit, Josh. I enjoyed it.
Jake,
But-
you're officially our first Twitch watcher ever, by the way.
Oh, thanks for tuning in on Twitch.
Or at least Twitch watcher who commented, at least.
Yeah, well,
Ever.
First Twitch comment, also huge.
we switched.
Yeah.
We switched it up. We moved it over to Twitch because there's a little heavier presence there, so we switched it up a little bit. But yeah, welcome.
Welcome,
Glad to have you.
welcome.
Nice.
Trying to optimize.
What else? We got
Ah.
tons to talk about coming up in our pod. We'll get our we'll watch it again over the weekend. We'll get our notes. We'll put something out there next week. We'll get our first recording done in the podcast. Did you guys have any other quick takeaways on what we got in this first episode of Book of Boba Fett before we wrap things up and head out?
I just wanted to note that I never thought I'd be happy for Bible references to be in Star Wars, but Stranger in a Strange Land is totally a Moses.
Oh, I thought it was the reference to the one book by that name.
Right, but the book is then a reference to the Bible
Oh,
because it's all about it. Because the book is about a guy who human
from
who grows up on Mars and then
Mars.
goes back to live with his people, and he's a fish out of water. And that's, Moses grows up thinking he's Egyptian. They find out he's Hebrew, and he sends him to live with his people. So, and then I felt like that while it is also like a Disney princess callback, but him being dressed by the droids is also like a Ten Commandments
And
reference.
his right hand lady is a Disney princess.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you said getting dressed by the droids was a what?
It's a reference to Ten Commandments where they're dressing the Pharaoh.
It reminded me of like a knight and a squire, but yeah, it's like same kind of thing.
Well, there were enough other like Moses, Egypt references in this that I assumed that's what they were
Are
going
you just
for.
making that comparison because there's a lot of sand?
No, there's hieroglyphics on the buildings. They talk about carrying them on a dais thing. There's a ton of stuff.
Nice. Which, by the way, that was awesome watching the armor go on, the gauntlets, how when they close up, you see that little like connection piece go between where it just kind of hinges and like it seals it.
I pictured every cosplayer wishing they had that person to do that for them.
I
Oh
was
my
just gonna say they've got to do something to set themselves apart from the costuming groups because like if you're not going to do the CGI to like do some movement and put them on, like you really got nothing on them at this point. Those things are so good.
Somebody will be smart enough to manufacture a piece that when it gets close, it like
They
magnetic
will.
pulls over to the other side, and that's how it connects. I'm sure they will.
Someone's probably already working on it.
Mine you just slide your wrist through and it's on your forearm. So mine is not that cool, but definitely cool. And the little knee rocket thing did that. He's got his boots going on. It was fun to watch. It was, and then the helmet, of course, the little like suction it makes when it seals.
Speaking of boots, I saw on Twitter that they forgot to like edit out the stunt person for Fennec Shan's tennis shoes. Like you can see that she's wearing like Adidas tennis shoes when she's running on the roof.
Doing the parkour.
She's like the women with the high heels in the 80s, 90s commercials where she just had a pair in her bag and she switched them real quick because she knew she was going to be running on the rooftop. So she had to put on her sneakers for comfort and speed, agility and traction.
Yep.
I looked at because I looked it up, but the difference between, and I don't know, potentially no practical difference, but the difference in the credit on The Mandalorian, they credited music to Ludwig, and on Book of Boba Fett, they credited musical themes to Ludwig and the score to Joseph.
Interesting. So there's a little different between the two.
I don't know if they handled the workload any differently, or he just wanted his name in lights, but that was the difference.
Nice. Rebel Arts message here is current situation where standing at a food truck and eating for free, listening to that.
Wait a minute.
Win-win.
That's win-win. Well, minus the work part, but standing at a food truck, eating for free, listening to us.
If you're getting paid for that work, that's like the best you can do at work. That's incredible. I mean, I said earlier in the show that I watched Book of Boba Fett at work, so it wasn't so bad for me either, I guess. But that's pretty dope. Did not get any free food truck. Be cooler if I did.
Do love some food truck though, man. And when we were in, which I'm super excited, a couple months away now, Anaheim, Star Wars Celebration. Kyle, last time we were there, do you remember they had that food truck? Like whole
right out front there was like a tunnel of probably 6 of them, 8 of them maybe.
Not cheap. Really good.
No, you were captive there. You there's plenty of food options in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center. Not that many food options. You got your concession stand food, or they had those food trucks outside, which were much better food, but like you were saying, not cheap. You were dropping some cash on small lunch. But you got outside in the fresh air too, and there is something to be said for that at a con, that's for sure, because being in there with all the people and the smells and things, it's nice to get outside, get a little vitamin D and fresh air. It's just good advice all around.
So we'll have a lot more coming up in the episode that we get out next week. We'll deep dive into everything that we saw. Oh, nice. They look very comfortable.
She can run faster and jump higher in those.
Yeah. Hardcore parkour. Josh is over there smiling. But we'll have a lot more in the deep dive coming up next week. Just a quick show. Like I said, we're going to be moving it to Friday nights. So you'll have Wednesday to watch, and then come chat with us on Friday nights. We're going to have some special guests on all these shows coming up. And then just jump on and talk with us for about an hour, I guess, and recap the episode. And we'll talk some Star Wars. I love having new Star Wars content again. It was so quiet there, though. Yeah, I think for me. So
it was good happy. Too.
Stuff. Just to get it back. So you can find, just so you guys know where to find us, you can find Outer Rim Beacon at all your social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can email us, outerrimbeacon@gmail.com. My name is Justin. You can find me on Twitter at IamTheBendu. Where can they find you guys at?
Josh, Battle of Tanab, on Instagram, Twitter, and Venmo.
Oh, Venmo. This is Kyle, and I am KB_legend on Venmo specifically, but also Instagram, and my microphone's in the way, and I can't find it anyway, and Twitter and everything. I'm always KB_legend.
And I'm Maggie. You can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town. I have a link tree in my bio so that you can find me in all of my various pursuits. I'm a very, very busy woman.
She's got a review out for the first episode.
It is on Collider that Justin didn't watch.
That's what I'm going to do now.
And every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern time, I'm one of the co-hosts over on the Hollywood Critics Association for our Book of Boba Fett after show with John Rocha and Dan Martell, and it's very fun. It's so much fun. So if you're a fan of Outlaw Nation, we've got John.
Nice.
It's very fun. We had our first episode this morning.
All over the town.
I am.
Went down.
Everywhere. Ed, we missed you guys as well. We are happy to be back doing our live streams again. We love doing this. We have a good time with it. So we're glad you do too. Hopefully a little bit later on, when we have our guests, we'll have some fun with them. We'll maybe do a game or two. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, well, let's wrap it up. And hopefully you had a good midweek break to talk about some Star Wars, people. I enjoyed it. I was so excited for this tonight. I was stoked. So, but have a great rest of the week. Happy New Year. Happy early New Year, I guess. And be safe. If you're out partying, be safe.
See everybody next year.
Oh, this guy. Yeah. Happy New Year.
All right, guys. May the force be with you.
Always.
This is the way.
Unidentified vessel. Please submit your clearance codes.